How you doing, fan? This is Chris Minzo here. I have the Dark Core RGB Pro, one of the top gaming mice that is out there currently in the market, and does it really hold up to standard in 2024? Well, I'm going to show you everything that is inside of the Dark Core RGB Pro. What does Corsair offer and what does it come with? Does it have all the hardware that is needed to be one of the top competitive gamers? It's a beautiful looking mouse. And kind of a standard mouse. I mean, you can't say anything too exciting about looking at a mouse, but we'll take it out of its plastic so we can have a better look at it. To let you know, it comes with these manuals if you're into that. It does come with three different ones, and it does have a warranty manual that does come with it. And the warranty is up to 2 years with the Corsair Dark Core RGB Pro, and it does come with a 1.8 meter USB-C wire. It is braided, and the great thing about this mouse, it does also feature slipstream wireless. And what exactly is slipstream wireless? Well, when you hook up this mouse, and say you have another keyboard, say a wireless K70, you can all hook it up into one USB. That is slipstream wireless. That's less USB devices you have to plug into your PC. All of it can be off of one receiver. And it unfolds, and there we go. That's what we want. Kind of fell over, and does have these interchangeable palms, which is interesting. So if you don't like the one that is currently on there, you can easily swap it out. And here is the physical specimen itself and the Corsair RGB Pro mouse, which we've all been looking forward to. Isn't that just quite the beautiful looking mouse? It does feature Omron switches on here. Now, some of the people out there might not be a big fan of the switch that it does come with. The switch it does come with is the D2FC, which allegedly has up to 50 million clicks in this mouse, which is guaranteed for the 2 years that you at least have this mouse. And it does have up to 8 programmable buttons. Buttons are pretty simple on this mouse, as it features the 2 on the left of the left click. It does have the mouse wheel. It also has the button in the middle here, the right click, and it does have the 2 side action buttons. Let's take off this plastic here real quick. You simply just pop this off. Oh wait, wrong side. Pop off on this side here. So you just see a little divot here, and you just pull it off, and then that's where your USB receiver can go if you want to put it there, if you do take this on the go. And you just simply put this other palm here if you want more of a wider grip, if this is what you prefer. So if you prefer a more wide grip, that can be done on this mouse here. Preferably, I don't like too wide of a grip, just like this one, so I'll pop this one off. I'm gonna put this one on because this is what I prefer. Of course, you got your USB adapter, which isn't gonna be as important if you already have some Corsair products that are slipstream compatible. Now, not all Corsair products do have slipstream, including the K65 Plus that does not have slipstream in it, so you can't really work with the mouse and that keyboard together. You're gonna have to use 2 of the USB adapters. Supposedly, this mouse has up to 16 hours of usage, up to 24 hours in standby. So the battery life might not be desirable, but we're gonna test it to see if have it a little bit longer or a little bit shorter than what it claims. So it does have a nice comfortable grip when you're gripping it. It's a nice wide grip. So that way, if you have larger hands, it doesn't really interfere when you are using this mouse. More than likely, it's probably gonna be pretty dead when you do unbox this mouse, so it's a good idea to fully charge it before use. But the good news is you don't only have to hook it up with just the USB adapter, but you can also hook it up via Bluetooth. So if you don't have a device, or if you have like a ASUS ROG Ally where you want to use a mouse like this, yes, you can hook it up via Bluetooth. And there is a third option, which you're gonna hook it up via PC, which is USB. It's up to 18,000 DPI, so it should be quite an incredible mouse. Let's go test this out and see exactly how comfortable this mouse feels. The Corsair Dark Core mouse is very easy to charge. As I mentioned up here, you can charge it via USB-C. Once it is lit, you'll see that the RGBs kind of light up on the mouse itself temporarily, just to let you know it's connected. I do like the stippling on it, so it does have a nice texture when you are gripping on it. Kind of feels like a golf ball when you're holding it.
It has very little resistance, so you don't really feel too much drag, but you can feel each click. This is your default profile switching. If you are in hardware mode, if you choose not to use IQ, this is how you would switch out to your 3 different profiles. The mouse will notify you via RGB which profile you're in. You have your typical left click and your right click. You have your 4 buttons here on the side, flush with the mouse itself. Very nice to use when you are in the middle of gaming. You'll have a ton of different software profiles that you can create for this mouse, but hardware profile wise, you are limited to 3. Now the way it feels when you are gliding on this mouse isn't too bad. It feels nice and smooth, doesn't feel like it has any type of resistance, so you feel nice and comfortable when you are using this mouse. There's no complaints about that side of it. The weight is not too heavy or not too light, it's perfectly in between. But when you are clicking on the mouse, when you're clicking left or right, or when you're clicking any of these buttons, it kind of has this hollow feel. Almost like when you press onto the key, it kind of feels like it echoes inside of the mouse. Some people might like it, some people may not like it. It all depends on the type of mouse user you are. Now, obviously, because of the mouse design, you cannot use it on your left hand. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but it's going to be quite uncomfortable. It is much better for right-handed mouse users. You could connect it via Slipstream Wireless through Corsair's USB device, or you can connect it through Bluetooth. You get up to 2000 hertz of polling rate via Slipstream Wireless. Now the RGBs are quite beautiful on this mouse, I gotta say. They're fully customizable, so you can pick up the speed, you can choose how quick you want to change out your colors. That is one of the best parts of having Corsair products, but recently IQ hasn't been the greatest. Here's what I gotta say negative about it. I'm not a big fan of how this mouse exactly feels. It just kind of feels like a standard gaming mouse, nothing too crazy. I mean, it's not really that exciting of a mouse to me personally. You do have only up to 3 profiles when it comes to hardware switching. That's not the greatest feature that Corsair has to feature when it comes to their mouse. I also am not a big fan of how the buttons feel on it. I'm not a big fan of flush buttons because when you are in mid-game, especially if you're competitive, for me personally, I like the feel of where the buttons are. Now, some people might not like that. They might not like more of a profound button to find, but to me personally, I like to have a little bit more of a tactile clicky feel. So when I do push onto this mouse, you do get a response, and it's a tight response, but the keys or the buttons on this mouse feels a lot more loose compared to other gaming mice. Side buttons don't feel as bad as the other parts of the mouse, but when it comes to the top of a loose clicking feeling. Now when it comes to battery usage, it's quite impressive. I had up to 241 hours of standby time. I have up to 35 hours and 39 minutes of actual usage, and that is with the RGBs on. So it is quite impressive for a mouse, so you can expect at least a good 3 to 4 days of usage of good gaming time that you don't have to worry about charging your mouse. Corsair's Dark Core RGB mouse has every reason to be the flagship mouse for Corsair, or more of their classic gaming mouse when it comes to Corsair, and rightfully so. Is it really worth the purchase of getting a Corsair Dark Core RGB mouse? Corsair's classic gaming mouse is hard to beat, especially for the pricing, as it's only $79.99 USD. You can pick it up for a really great deal, but I gotta give this mouse a 6.5 out of 10. It's not the greatest gaming mouse, but it's definitely a mouse that you can have a ton of fun with. The RGBs are awesome on it. The customization is high, especially if you're using it in IQ, but there is limitations to this gaming mouse. Once again, I give it a 6.5 out of 10. Now, if you're interested in this gaming mouse, I do have it down in the description box down below. And also, if you know anybody else who is looking for a gaming mouse or wants to see how the Corsair Dark Core RGB Pro is, make sure you share this video with them. And also, if you're not part of the big wonderful fan band, make sure you go down and hit the subscribe button for more, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. And for all the newest updates, make sure you follow my X handle right here, as it is the same as my TikTok and IG as well. Fan band guys, what would you like to see
in the next review. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Chris Mizo signing out.